Gold ornaments of Celtic women, the stranger's treasure. For centuries, the search for ancient treasure has been pursued in the glens and wild places of the Highlands of Scotland, and sometimes unexpected finds have been made. For instance, a tradition that a treasure was hidden at Inverary had long been handed down. According to the legend, it would never been found except by a stranger. So if you remember, we did a demonstration in regards to the exoteric story of running the moors out of Ireland. And there was an allegorical story about a strange English boy who would find a treasure, and he found it under a rock with the serpent's tail. And it was 3 golden bracelets, which was coinciding with the 3 Moorish heads that was taken off. But that was a semblance that I seen, which in itself is metaphorical because it's telling you got to keep digging and digging for the treasure. And the treasure is knowing thyself, because we are who our ancestors were today without doubt or contradiction. Generation after generation of children searched for it. If a badger made a hole in the hillside, the children believed that the badger had the scent and dug up his burrow. But no young or old badger ever came forth with bangles on its neck or its nose. The children watched every rabbit scrape or hen scrape to see if animal or bird had been attracted by anything shining under the sod or in the sand. One pretty piece of grassland under a cliff was pointed out as a good bit for plowing. From the precipice above a great rock had fallen in long past ages that had to be removed. The man at the plow tall was a stranger, an Englishman. See, it's the same as the other story. He put a bag of powder under the rock to blow it up. The explosion following in partly splintering rock heaved and fell on its side. Underneath where it had been was a gleam of the lost treasure. There were 3 beautiful heavy gold bracelets, 2 of which had cups at their ends. The treasure had been found, and by a stranger, as prophesied. Those bracelets were beautifully wrought. One of them had been plain end, and the rest were slipped through. As for the pair with the hollow cups, an old tradition was recalled which declared that no person who had committed a fault could be forgiven unless the cups of the gold at the gap in the bracelets were filled with his potential tears. There is just room for the nose, like the wrist, to slip in between the golden ends, and it is possible to hold the cups under the 2 eyes. Sometimes ignorant men who have found such bracelets have looked on the gold as mere brass. In one case, a number of bracelets found on an island of the Hebrides were used as drawer handles for an old pine crest of drawers. That's what I'm saying. You have to know what is treasure. This makes me want to read the lesson in regards to the tiller who tilled every day on his field and barely got what he needed at the end of the day. But then a man came by and told him, "There's gold all under your land." But he tilled every day, barely getting what he needed. And he said, you just got to dig a little deeper. And you all need to dig a little deeper and you can get the truth. A peddler came to the cottage, found that the old chest had very heavy handles, and gave 15 shillings or $3.75 for it. He took it away and sold the old handles for 20 each. And that's what I'm saying. You don't even know the treasure you have within your own hands. Such heavy ornaments as the bracelets must have been a burden to a Celtic beauty. For a warrior, the gold was beaten out until it was thin, for then it was more portable and easily worked. Patterns of all kinds could be punched in it so as to give a good effect in front. We can imagine how grand the old Celtic chief looked with a shining yellow band on his conical helmet. But it ain't a helmet, it's a fez, a conical fez. A broad plate of gold on his right shoulder, and on his left a long yellow mantle girt in by the belt itself. So your national headdress is a conical fez. The Celtic women have a weird mystic loveliness of the purest, a loveliness so impelling that the mere beauty of other women pales into utter insignificance besides even its memory. Her hair of rich dark copper tint glowed with a luster of 1,000 gems. It is massive coils sat around her head like the coronet of an empress. Her eyes were like twin purple violets, and in their depths shone chastity and love, nor the love that is held by leash by fear, but the love of life that by its very intensity so dazzle and yet repels defilement, and how the expression of her eyes would change. At times she seemed a modern, bubbling over with a joy of life. At other times a stern shadow would creep over her, and one thought of the Boadicea or the Celtic Norns of old Bretagne, dreaded and yet so madly worshipped. At times it seemed as if the soul of some woman of that older race, for whom men laid down their lives and deemed it holy privilege, looked out from her eyes as from a window. And that's exactly how this mother's looking, like she's looking out from windows. Dim memories of a long forgotten past flashed over the mind. So mother indeed is waiting to wake up. We must uplift fallen humanity, because mother's womb is humanity. We must carry her out of the cares of the world. And Jesus spoke a parable. He said, a certain man possessed a field. The soil was hard and poor. By constant toil, he scarcely could provide enough of food to keep his family from want. One day, a miner who could see beneath the soil and passing on his way saw this poor man in his unfruitful field. And you know, a miner is Cornish. And Cornish, as far as being a miner, is metaphysical for digging for the truth, which is eternal happiness. He called the weary toiler and he said, my brother, know you not that just below the surface of your barren field, rich treasures lie concealed? You plow and sow and reap in a scanty way, and day by day you tread upon a mine of gold and precious stones. This wealth lies not upon the surface of the ground, but if you will dig away the rocky soil and delve deep down into the earth, you need no longer till the soil for naught. The man believed, the miner surely knows, and I will find the treasures hidden in my field. And then he dug away the rocky soil, and deep down in the earth, he found a mine of gold. You got to destroy your lower self. You got to dig away at it. And Jesus said, the sons of men are toiling hard on desert plains, and burning sands and rocky soils, are doing what their fathers did, not dreaming they can do aught else. Behold, a master comes and tells them of a hidden wealth, that underneath the rocky soil of carnal things are treasures that no man can count, that in the heart the richest gems abound, that he who wills may open the door and find them all. And then the people said, make known to us the way that we may find the wealth that lies within the heart. And Jesus opened up the way. The toiler saw another side of life, and toil became a joy. And that is from the Moorish holy temple of science, Holy Quran. And it ties in directly with our ancestors, except the truth and the keys were locked away, and our people only got the exoteric meaning. So I did this demonstration to honor the Celtic mothers. I seen that 50% of the viewers are mothers. So honors to you, mother, for this is a matriarchy here at the Cornish Temple, because the mother gives the law and the son enforces. This is a matriarchy. Sons are born, and the first law given to the son is by the mother. And that's the way government started. Government starts with the family, and the mother gives the law, and the son enforces. I leave you in peace and love, brothers and sisters.